two attacks may be linked. And this is from multiple law enforcement sources to both us, our 5 Investigates team, and ABC News. And that information about this connection was developed in the last 24 hours as detectives working on both cases.
The information about the DNA is widely out. The fact that the task force is working some DNA, there's some reporting that it's from shell casings found at the scene.
Like and subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to get notifications anytime I go live and make a video. Make sure you still subscribe to this channel, like this video, comment this video, share this video, and y'all make sure y'all pray for my voice. Let's get into this. I'm still incredibly perplexed that they have not found the shooter in this case. This wasn't complicated. A person goes on campus, shoots people, flees. This wasn't a trained assassin. This wasn't anything of the nature. And now that they found shell casings or live ammunition, there's a potential that they can get this gentleman or this person that's involved and they can find their DNA and prosecute him. But I do find it weird at the way they're handling this. And I try not to be a hypocrite because I felt like that the FBI, generally speaking, handled Charlie Kirk's situation properly. You know, some of those things that they put out, the things that they didn't put out, in my personal opinion, were things that they couldn't put out. When it comes to this scenario, I feel like there's things that they can put out, but they're refusing to put out for political reasons. They are saying this was a targeted incident. How do you know it's targeted? You have to have some investigatory information to lead you to believe that it's targeted. Also, the person yelled something before they ever did anything. They yelled something.
And called into police. I mean, the reality is that this is a 7-story physics and engineering building that was unlocked, but this individual went to a specific classroom that was essentially in a study session for an exam on economics and chose that classroom. And we know from a witness inside that this gunman yelled something. We don't know what this individual yelled, and then began shooting. Why
won't they disclose what they yelled? In my personal opinion, they don't want to do it because they know it has some connection to probably an anti-Jewish thing, some terrorist attack type thing, something of that nature that I think that will embarrass the narrative that they've been holding on to. That's just my opinion. I could be totally wrong. We shall find out when they finish the investigation. But if you want to have more information and be up to date on what's going on at the Brown University situation, you can go to ground.news and you can find out what people are saying about it from every angle, from the left, from the center, from the right. You could even go over here and you can match up Brown University or Providence, Rhode Island, if you want to have a specific search where you can follow all things Providence. And so here's where it's at, ground.news. And you also know if you're getting biased content or not. You know, you can say it's from the left, you know how that go. From the right, you know how they go. When it's center, you know how that might go. So this is the best place to check out concrete news. You know exactly where your news is coming from, and you get it aggregated. For everybody that's reporting on it, you get it all in one place. Ground.news/Tatum. Go to ground.news/Tatum. I think we can give you 40% off if you guys join the Vantage plan, which is the unlimited plan that I use. So go to ground.news. I think we got the link in the description section. Let's play a couple clips for you guys of the line round recovered the news clip. I want to play that news clip so you can see exactly what they were referring to. I wrote a clip.
The information about the DNA is widely out. The fact that the task force is working some DNA, there's some reporting that it's from shell casings found at the scene. What I can tell you from my sourcing is that I think quite significantly they have live rounds. That is, rounds that were not fired, undetonated rounds. Why does that matter? Because shell casings have enclosed a detonation. That's how bullets work, which means they often destroy evidence and they're scorched. In the case of live rounds, think about what happens there on a 9mm automatic. The perpetrator has to fat finger those rounds, bullets, into a magazine, which is the sleeve that holds them, and that gets put into the handle of the gun. That's how a semi-automatic works. So you have a perpetrator handling rounds that have not been exploded that are found at the scene. It's the same thing we saw, if you recall, in Luigi Mangione when the gun jammed He also had a semi-automatic. He had to rack the slide to try to get it to work and clear the jam. He did, but that ejects the live rounds. Live rounds at this scene, I think, is a hopeful sign for getting usable DNA, even if he's not in the database. Remember, they can use that familial DNA technique that we saw in the Koberger case. It gets to a cousin or something, you work back from there. So I think that's a positive sign for the investigation, and I can tell you they're scraping very hard at it.
Well, we have to talk about that. I think there's great potential that there could be DNA on the rounds. I don't think that that's out of the ordinary. However, I'm just going to give you guys a caveat so you don't get your hopes up. If a person is wearing gloves and they were meticulous about the rounds, which means that they ordered the rounds, they took the rounds in, put gloves on, load the rounds into the gun, fired the rounds, misfired, whatever, they ejected them, whatever way they did it, and they didn't get any fingerprints on it. That's one reality that could be the case. The other reality could be very well that the person was stupid, which they're stupid enough to shoot people in the first place, but stupid enough to think, I'm going to wear gloves when I do the shooting, but they didn't think about wearing gloves when they had to load the rounds in, because it is annoying. And I was on the SWAT team and we had gloves on. It is not that easy to load the rounds, or it's not as easy to load the rounds into the rifle, to the magazine when you got gloves on. It's easier to take a glove out and load them in like this, or get a loader, which I think you kind of gay if you have a loader anyway. Like, you better just thumb them rounds in there, or I'm going to question your manhood. But regardless of that, so there could be a possibility there could be DNA evidence on there. I'm hopeful that there is DNA evidence.
The two attacks may be linked, and this is from multiple law enforcement sources to both us, our 5 Investigates team, and ABC News. And that information about this connection was developed in the last 24 hours as detectives working on both cases. So Providence Police taking the lead in Rhode Island, and Brookline Police with Mass State Police taking the lead here in Massachusetts. They compared notes, and the sources said investigators believe they are close to identifying a suspect, which would be a huge break.
Yeah,
and frankly, a sigh of relief for the whole region.
Absolutely. And you mentioned, them comparing notes. We only have those enhanced images of the person of interest in Providence. And as you mentioned, in Brookline, these are both pretty residential areas, right? Very residential areas. And we talk about what happened to that MIT professor here, Nuno Loureiro. There are reports that neighbors heard the gunshots that went off, and likely were able to look back and see if they had any video or anything like that to go into their investigation, hopefully is leading police to figure out if there is a possible link here or not. Our Emily Maha is in Providence. She's at Brown University. She has been talking with professors there on hand, talking with students there throughout this investigation. What are you hearing now with this new update that's been coming in?
Well, Jessica, you had mentioned this is kind of the first really big update we've gotten in several days, and people here, people in the community, students, staff, faculty, they're anxious for information. They're anxious for any kind of answers, any kind of way to help them understand what happened on their own campus. We're here on South Main Street. Brown University is just up the hill, but there are a number of Brown University buildings across this area, and it is all anyone is talking about. I spoke with one staff member and I asked her, I said, how are you doing? How does everything feel right now? And she said, it feels surreal. It feels like we're living in this alternate universe where you're just constantly checking your phone, checking for updates, asking people if they've heard anything, because nobody knows. It's for a lot of the people I've heard from, the students, the staff, they say it feels so strange that someone was able to walk into the School of Engineering, commit this atrocious crime, and then seemingly just walk right out and vanish. So a lot of the people I've been hearing from are waiting for answers. They are hoping for any kind of information, any kind of update that will help them better understand this mass shooting that claimed the lives of 2 very incredible Brown University students and hurt 9 others. It's been a really difficult time on campus. It's been a really difficult time in this community. There's a lot of confusion, there's a lot of grief, and there's a lot of heaviness that just until this moment doesn't seem to have any kind of answer.
So we got a couple of the clips that I want to show you guys. Let's go with clip 802. Is the shooter exiting? The shooter exit had no cameras. Roll the clip.
Gunman, primary person of interest, the suspect, came out of that entrance or exit and started walking this way. and passing this dumpster. If you just look around this parking lot and show everybody, there are no cameras that we can see out here, right outside of the Barris and Hawley building. You can see there are no cameras that we see visible to the eye. So that is something that has been a big sticking point in this investigation.
Why wouldn't you put cameras on the perimeter of campus so you can see who's coming on the campus and who's coming off? That's security 101.
There was a rational reason. I don't think it was a good reason, meaning that shouldn't have happened, but there's a reason why there were potential cameras on the building, but not on every aspect of the building. And the official explains it, I believe, in the second clip, where out of all the stuff that they're saying, this made the most sense. People have to be rational about this. You know, I know it's inflammatory. Some of the things that they say can pee you off. But at the end of the day, I really do believe that it is invaluable to think these things through, because there was a modern building add-on to the older building. There were cameras on the modern side, but there weren't many cameras on the antiquated side, which makes sense. It happens all the time. But it is, in my opinion, a lack of due diligence from the university to have cameras that are functional, even if it's a older building. Because when stuff like this happen, what you gonna do? Now you don't have no evidence. When y'all got enough money to put this stuff together like you're supposed to. Let's roll the clip 803.
The camera in that building that Brown put off because the sanctuary city law that we have. You don't want to record illegal immigrants, and you don't want to provide the footage to the FBI or immigration authority. One camera in that building, it come out from your detectives, they are friends of mine, they're angry at this investigation that these people in Brown University put the camera off, they can identify that person. You imagine how the family want to go through? Tell the truth to the media here. Putting cameras off.
We heard from both the Brown police chief and the provost at Brown, who have shared that they have been fully cooperative and been forthcoming with all data and evidence that they have. The City of Providence's experience is the same, which is that Brown has been entirely cooperative and collaborative and fully sharing with us. We will be back here tomorrow once again. If you are not on the press list.
In the clip, the police chief mentioned that there was a reason why that there was no cameras on some of these buildings, which makes sense. Let's get to the next clip, 804.
News alert, Providence police just moments ago releasing this photo here on your screen. We'll pop it up, of a second man they say was in the proximity of the person of interest in the Brown University shooting, meaning the videos we've been showing on your screen of the alleged perp that has been walking around, this person was seen in that one's vicinity. So they are asking for the public's help identifying who this person is on your screen and urging anyone with information to please call the tip line. And remember, no tip, no thought, no anything that you have is too small to be of potential value to the FBI and to those undergoing this investigation. Thank you.
Let's get to the clip that we have of the actual suspect. Nick put together this. I think he was telling me that he put together a clip where you have a potential suspect and you have kind of his cadence, the way he walks, the way he is doing things. He's an activist, and he's I think they believe he's a suspect. I don't think they have officially announced that he is, but 2 and 2 look like 4 in many cases. So let's play the clip that we have structured where we can kind of see this guy side by side, because you can see the way this guy looks, his build, the way he walks, in comparison to the person that they think could be a possible suspect. Roll the clip. Y'all, look at the way he walk. Look at the way that penguin walking. Walking stomach first. It look like the same guy.
This suspension is a clear.
Same build, similar jacket. Walking with his stomach first. I'm not saying that it is, but you know, it looked like it. But the question is this another reason why they're not being as forthcoming as I think that they could? Is because it alludes to activists, potential terrorists, and the same people that we've been saying have been violent on campuses that they should have been paying attention to. And it makes me wonder, it's like, do they know who these people that potentially did it? They don't want you to know because it implicates them. because they may have had signs and symptoms. They let this kid protest on campus, talking about free Palestine, all this other stuff, and then what does he do? He goes shoot up a place where you got a young Republican leader there and some other people. I heard, it was on social media. I don't know if it's verified, but I heard that the teacher was like a Jewish teacher and she had a class or something like that where it could have been a connection in that way. The person was on Brown's website, but has now been scrubbed according to what my guys looked up. Is there a video? Do we have video footage of the scrubbing? All right, roll it.
Leave some web pages for students or faculty have been taken down. Is that a response to any external threats to anyone in the community?
We have been working very closely with law enforcement to provide them with all of the internal to Brown information that they need to do this investigation. It's their investigation. They're the professionals. So we're providing information. We're not in the job of reviewing it for them. I know nothing about web pages being taken down as part of this. It's the first I've heard of it.
In the back.
It's the first time they addressed that, but you go look at it right here, and I think this is an example of where you go to search for it and it no longer exists. So allegedly that kid, see, here we go. That kid was previously on that website, and now all of a sudden it doesn't exist. And it's the same guy who we saw protesting, who we saw with the kafifa, or whatever you call that stupid thing they wear around their head and neck. Same guy. It makes me wonder, was it a staff member? And they know it's a staff member, and they're trying to cover the trail. I don't know, man. It's very weird and suspicious because these leftist universities are known for this stuff.